Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, and today, bit of a different video for you, a long one too, so you might want to grab some coffee and popcorn. Some of you might have even seen this already if you tuned into the live stream, but earlier this week, we had a discussion stream or a group chat over on TwoSixNine's Twitch channel where we spoke about some of the games we're looking forward to seeing more of at E3 this year, as well as some of our predictions for things we might see at the show. Hopefully by now you guys should be familiar with the team, but just so that you're all on the same page, 269 and Paradise are also part of Arekkz Gaming. 26 and Paradise stream pretty much every day, and you can find their Twitch channels linked down below. We've done a few of these discussions in the past, and you guys seem to enjoy them back then. Plus, with E3 around the corner, and both myself and 269 attending, we figured it'd be a good chance to chat about loads of exciting stuff. So if you do enjoy this, then be sure to let us know. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, especially around E3 where we have lots of games to talk about, then again, let us know down below. But that's enough rambling from me, let's get into the discussion.
Everyone's ready for the E3 podcast? Alright guys.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome back to another podcast slash discussion slash group chat with the team at Arekkz Gaming. We're going to be talking about our E3 excitements and predictions. What we're excited about. I just made up a word there, but don't worry about that. We're going to be talking about all the lovely stuff that we're expecting to see at E3 and a couple of predictions thrown in there. The way that we're going to do it is that each of us have about 5 predictions. We don't know if we're going to get through all of them, but we're going to definitely try to get through most of them. And we're going to be talking about the games that we're excited for, which we've got a bunch of games this year that have been announced that said that we're going to be showing a bit more. So it's going to be good. Yeah, so let's start off with Alex. What game are you most excited by? For?
So I didn't actually write down my games that I listed earlier, so I'll try and remember them. But let's start with Smash Brothers. Because I mean, like, I feel like this applies to all of us. Well, Paradise will soon become a Smash Brothers master as well. But yeah, obviously we got the trailer. What was it? Where did it drop? Was it January, February? One of those ones. There was like the teaser that dropped at the end of the direct, which, you know, obviously you haven't seen gameplay yet, but based on the fact that the logo is different, based on the way they revealed it, it's more than likely hinting at it's either going to be a brand new Smash Brothers or at least something new. I don't think it's going to be a straight port of the Wii U version. I feel like if that was the case, they would have revealed it more like they did Mario Kart on Switch. So new Smash Brothers, which is hype. Like, we have spent so many hours on Smash Brothers back when, of course, like met 26 at university. That's what we used to play among like other games as well. Played at Microsoft, met so many people through it. So like, it's just a series that I'm super hyped for anyway. It's a series that needs to be on Switch. Like, as a massive Switch fan anyway, it's like one of the big voids on the platform right now. I've got my Zelda, got my Mario, great. I need the Smash Brothers so that I can then just like take it with me, fight people on the go. So yeah, that is probably one of the things that we're looking forward to the most. Well, one of the things I'm definitely looking forward to the most for sure.
Yeah, I feel like whatever is happening with Nintendo Smash, like you're asking for it, but you're just gonna get destroyed, and that's the problem, right? You're asking for your demise, right here.
You might be a Century Kid, right? But like, let us not forget the times we used to battle university where my who knows plays my math used to best your
all we do nowadays is 2 links stand at the side of the stage and like edge guard everything.
It's a strategy. It works, right?
So cheap.
But the thing is more to the point, like, is that with some of the new IP as well, there's obviously some interesting like new ideas. I mean, there'll always be the recurring ones that you could potentially see in the silhouette at the end. You know, people that we think will always be there. You know, you always have like your Marios, your Bowsers, Peach, and Link and stuff. But more to the point of like looking towards some of their new IPs, it'd be nice to have. I mean, it's pretty much a given there will be inklings in, given the way they revealed the game, and also thinking to things like ARMS characters. And the fact that they've, you know, when they've re-released a few of the Wii U titles as well, I would really love them to kind of dip into some of the things like that. Like, I still always want a Wonderful 101 character. I feel like I'm probably never going to get that, but yeah, it's always cool to see a new roster. And I think the thing that excites me the most is I remember when they last announced Smash, and it was like it felt like we were waiting like 2 years for it, and they kept on like revealing things through like the dojo. It just felt like an eternity. But the fact they announced it this year and they were like, it's also coming out this year, then we know that we're not going to have to wait as long. And I think that's kind of partly what Nintendo was sort of trying to push with the Switch, more so going forward. They're trying to sort of announce things that you can get in closer proximities instead of giving us these huge, hefty wait windows. So, yeah, exciting.
Yeah, it's yeah. So the deal breaker for me on Smash is if the online system's the same. Like times to change and like times have been changing for like the last 2 generations of consoles, and like Smash Online has never been like a great system. It's always been like super laggy or whatever. So, I'm hoping.
I hope so. I mean, I think it will kind of sort of go in line with the fact that they announced their online service. They announced, obviously, I know it's going to be like a premium service, but when you look at it across the year, it's not actually that expensive. I think it's like $20 for the whole year or something. So like, but if they can use that to actually, if we're going to pay for an online service, if that can then lead to better online.
What is premium about it though?
I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
But I feel like we have. I'm not too sure.
The cloud saves.
Yeah, I get that, but more to the point, we've had the brief kind of initial reveal, like this some of the kind of stuff broadly, but I feel like they're going to speak more in depth about it at E3. So it'd be cool if there's a way to. It's cool if we can kind of find out more about what their plans are with that. Because if I'm going to pay for it, and it means I can have good online Smash matches, then I'm completely cool with that. But
I'm excited for Smash Bros. As well, though. Having not played really much at all of any Smash Bros. Game, I have the most I probably played is the 3DS Smash.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm talking maybe like under 10 fights on that. So the Switch Smash will probably be one of my first proper goes at a Smash game. So I'm really excited to see how I can fare against you guys.
Yeah.
I'm wondering like because the old Smash games I always felt were quite hard to get into as a new person to Smash. Because there's large amount of characters. There isn't really a good tutorial system, so you have to like go out and, at least from my experience, go out and learn the character yourself. And so there's quite a learning curve. And then if you're playing against your friends that are already really good at Smash, as a new person, it's just like it's just not fun. Yeah. So that was one of the problems I had with it. So I'm hoping that it'll be a good game to introduce people to Smash as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think it just suffers from that same kind of Monster Hunter kind of thing where like it's got a depth to the gameplay that it's never been very accessible for like new players. I know somebody in like the comments or the chats going like, Smash is super easy, boys. You can just go in there and hit that C stick and slap somebody. Why else do you need to know? And it's like, nah. Like if you don't know about double jumps and using your like one of your special moves to get back onto the stage, you just like as a person that's just picked up the controller, you'll never know that.
Yeah, it's like you can kind of pick it up and just sort of get through the arcade mode or like the sort of the standard like single player up to the boss and kind of thing, and get your way through. But if you go online with that and then you're not really sort of familiar with that, then it'll be a very tough time. So no, I hope so though. It'll be good.
So Paradise, what's your game that you're excited for?
So I've got a lot of games excited for, but I will start with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh.
I played Kingdom Hearts 1 like way back when it was released back on PlayStation 2, and I played Kingdom Hearts 2 as well. I didn't enjoy it as much as 1, but Kingdom Hearts 3 looks so good. I can't wait for the nostalgia, for the blast from the past. I really like it's like action RPG Kingdom Hearts, right? It's just so fun. I think Kingdom Hearts is that one game that anyone can play, even though it sort of is kind of like it's like Disney stuff, and some people might label it as childish, but it's not. It's for everyone, and it's super fun. So I'm super excited for that.
I never got around to playing any other of the Kingdom Hearts games, so this is going to be my jumping on point for like the series and stuff like that. I know in our like games of 2018, it's what I kind of mentioned as one of the ones that I was super excited for there, and everyone was like, nah man, you can jump on, all you have to do is just play like 1.8 into 1.2 into remix or into special remix rebirth, and then go from there back into the 3DS relog version, and then play the super relog version so that you can get back to the Kingdom Hearts 3. But before you do that, play the prelude. But yeah,
spin around 3 times,
eject the disc or whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Like, I'm an RPG fan, but I don't know if I'm going to like it as much as and I've been trying to watch people's streams of like the old Kingdom Hearts games at the moment, trying to catch up on the story and stuff like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's a similar kind of thing for me as well. Like I also haven't I've seen people play them, and I know people that are massive fans of them, but I have never actually played through any of them before. So this is also going to be a kind of jumping on point for me as well. So it looks cool. Like I think combat wise, it appeals to me because obviously you got the kind of the real time aspect of it, but I just don't know until I actually get a chance to sink into it to wait and see. But I would definitely be I think we'll definitely be checking out on the channel, that's for sure.
Yeah, the combat, I don't know. Do people enjoy the combat in like Kingdom Hearts game? Because every time I've seen it, it's been like, super simplistic.
I've heard good things about it.
Well, the combat's changed throughout the different Kingdom Hearts from 1 to 2, and then all the 3DS versions. There was also a Game Boy Advance Kingdom Hearts game that was like card-based combat. It was quite different, but it's always been sort of like target lock on, like sort of mash button combo. But you also always had magic and summons in Kingdom Hearts, so there was variation, and you could play in different styles. But I guess if you're playing effectively, you'd be funneled down to use like different creatures' weaknesses. But I would say, well, it was complex enough that you had different like techniques that you could learn that would do different combos. So one person could be playing different from another. So I wouldn't necessarily say it was a simple combat system.
Better or worse than Final Fantasy 15? Oh, why?
I want to say it's been a while since playing Final Fantasy 15, but I would say better. But 15, you also had like where you could switch weapons, right? So maybe 15 has a bit more variety, but they're two different genres. I think they're very different games. I would say they're very different games.
They're both action RPGs. You must grade them.
they're also decades apart.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But like even the stuff that I've seen in trailers, like Sora in the like Toy Story world as well. It's just like looks awesome. It's like summoning the drill. It's got like the mech and everything. It's like awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited for that one to jump on. So let me.
What about you, 26?
I don't know. What am I excited for this year's E3? I think most like my game that I'm most excited for actually, and Kojima literally just tweeted about it is Kojima,
oh yes,
the
game that nobody actually knows anything about because they can't really work out what to do.
I'm excited for this game as well. I have to say as well.
Yeah.
After only recently finishing the TV Hannibal series, and then it's got obviously the main. I can't remember his name, but it's got the actor from that in the trailers, and it's got I can't remember. I'm terrible with actors' names, but it's also got Daryl from The Walking Dead, right?
For the avoidance of doubt, by the way, we're talking about Death Stranding, just in case anyone hasn't seen this trailer. we're gonna name check it just in case someone's like, I've never seen this. This looks interesting. Death Stranding. Tell us about it.
Well, what am I supposed to tell about? I don't know anything about the game to tell about the game.
That was a trick question.
How am I supposed to know?
No. It is super exciting. I mean, like, Kojima, like just in general. I mean, like, I think everyone's. It's almost like everyone's excited for it for a couple of reasons. Obviously, like, no one's really seen any kind of gameplay yet, but it's just more following Kojima's storytelling mind kind of thing. I mean, I came into Metal Gear Solid quite late anyway, right? So I don't know the whole story, but even so, like what I played, I was still just like half the time I was confused, having to try and read up on things, try and make sense of stuff. So I kind of get the feeling that's going to be very, very much the same in this one. I know people have been because hasn't he done some like crazy stuff so far where like if you overlay the trailers, it sort of reveals stuff as well, right? Didn't he do that?
So yeah, one of the first reveal trailers with butt-naked Norman Reedus on a beach, and this trailer that's currently running in the background can actually overlay them on the same time, and there's like interactions between both trailers and stuff. You can see like the baby's eyes kind of transition from one trailer like to be like from being closed and opened in one trailer and to be closed and opened in the other and stuff. So it's really cool. I'm super I'm interested to know like if this game's going to be a hit or not, and if it is a hit, that means I'm happy for the next couple of years because I know Kojima's just going to be creating like bangers. If this game goes down, then it's going to be a bit of a ropey one because it means that he's left Konami and his support network that he had there was what was kind of holding up his great content creation. I don't have any doubt I've got slight doubt because like making a new studio and then building a game from scratch is difficult, but hopefully it's
do we know anything like because I mean I've been trying to sort of follow as much, but do we know anything so far about like the genre or anything like that, or like the kind of or the type of game it's going to be, or is it still very much like we don't know anything besides
it's supposedly an action game where death is a different concept. So like something happens different every time that you die. So sometimes you've seen in one of the trailers, the latest trailer, you can see him like wake up in the water. Supposedly that's like actual gameplay that from that scene that you see, and you kind of wake up in the water and you transition. It's got like a different meaning to it, and he's trying to change the concept of that, and how it's also going to have like a multiplayer aspect in the game where like there's like connections, but everything in this is so vague because it's Kojima, so you can't really say anything, so you don't know what's going on. But we don't really know anything in particular, like what is going in the game, unless you're like really kind of guessing and theory crafting most of the stuff. But
this part of the trailer is really good as well. Like, it's like go go go, and then you see that and you're like, what is going on?
So it'd be interesting to see how this pans out and what everything means in it. But I'm just ready for some.
At least we know. Stuff. At least we know for sure. No vague kind of parts to it. Like we know for sure we're going to find out more at E3 because Sony are taking a slightly different stance this year, right? So they announced at their press conference, obviously they're focusing on 4 core titles, and of course one of those 4 is Death Stranding. The others being Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and Last of Us. So we know it's going to get some genuine limelight. It's not going to be one of those things again where it's like, here's another vague. Well, actually, we don't know that. We know it's going to have a presence. I'm hoping it's not just a vague trailer, but if it's going to be one quarter of their press conference, then I would hope there would be something substantial.
That's the thing. Their press conference is going to be a normal press conference. The person that said that it's not going to be just a focus on those ones. It's just like it's going to be a traditional press conference. That's what my understanding is of it is.
Right. Okay.
So, it's not going to be.
I guess they just called them out.
Like 25 minutes of Death Stranding gameplay.
Oh, okay. Because there was that podcast where they kind of tried to. They said they were going to sort of approach things slightly differently this year, right? They kind of made it sound like they were putting a stronger focus on like 4 big titles, and then
I think that was a misunderstanding.
Okay. Fair enough.
I
it's going to be.
I want them to have a traditional press conference. That's a whole like another discussion in itself. Like traditional press conferences are great. All right, Paradise. What's your next game?
Well, Alex already baited out a few of mine, but let's go with one of them anyway. Last of Us 2.
All right, cool.
Loved The Last of Us. I played The Last of Us 1 later. Like I didn't play it when it first came out, and I still super enjoyed it, and I think it still holds up today, which is really nice for like a story-driven game. Especially like because like story-driven games aren't really that replayable, at least for me. But The Last of Us definitely is, just because it's such a great story and gameplay experience. So Last of Us 2, we still don't know a great deal about Last of Us 2 unless I've missed some information. So I'm really excited to see what is coming for Last of Us 2.
I feel like you're just going to be playing from a load of different perspectives since they've shown like 2 distinctly different trailers, right? I feel like one of the perspectives is probably going to be like Ellie, and then this person that's in this trailer, and then at E3 they'll show another trailer with another character or something.
I think that it's just I don't know about perspectives. I think it's just like showing the different characters that are going to be in it, not necessarily playing as those characters.
Yeah, but there's so much that you could just do with Ellie in herself, and this character looks like they've spent so much time kind of sculpting her and her character design that she could almost be our own lead character. So I'm thinking that maybe it's like different characters and different perspectives, and that would be a great way. Like, you know how they've got the different chapters, and then maybe it all links up at the end, and it will kind of go out to something. But the graphics in it look nuts. So another Naughty Dog game, like, oh my gosh! I was thinking, I was thinking this morning because I was watching like the Mission Impossible trailer. They need to make a spy game. That's what they need to do. They need to make something with like actual futuristic equipment. Imagine like throwing out like a. I don't know.
Would like that not be Deus Ex?
But Deus Ex hasn't got the production quality of like a Naughty Dog game, where it's like layered, scripted like scenes and stuff. It'll be like Nathan Drake with a porta fort, like what? Like what? Yeah. So, that would be great. Yeah, I want to see how brutal this game is. Just from this trailer, like certain people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is like torture it's like torture movies watching this. It's like, no, this is like, I want my games to have depth. Like, if you can see worse things than this in movies. Like, why can't we not have this type of stuff in the media of like video games? I know this is kind of brutal happening at the moment.
Yeah,
but like,
I mean, yeah, like Saw movies and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Much worse happens.
Exactly.
As long as there's like a rating system for it and kids are not getting their hands on it, then it's fine. But it's like, I want to be shocked by games. Like, I've been watching. You watch Game of Thrones. Like, you kind of know what's happening, but you're still shocked as well. Like, I want to watch a story, I want to play a game, and I want to, like, see new things. I don't want the same kind of just retold story, and I know the confines of the games and stuff. And I don't want the gore just to be there for gore's sake. I want it to be, like, narratively, like, cohesive, where it's, like, telling a story, and that gore factors into what's actually happening. So it's, like, you can, like, have some reflection on what's happening and the brutality of it all. Yeah. Cool. What about you, Alex? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, because I mean, I played through the first one. It's funny because when I first played it, like, I mean, because I really enjoyed it, and like, I know it's not a conventional zombie game, so to speak, but I kind of like, the first one sort of fell into that broad, like slightly broad category, and like, I don't typically play those kind of games, but I played it because it was a Naughty Dog game, obviously, you know, coming over from Uncharted and stuff, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, I played through. I didn't play the DLC. I played through the whole thing when it first came out on PS3, right? I didn't play the remaster, so I've just played the base version. So I will fully, you know, I don't know too much about that, and in fact, this is actually the first time. I don't know how I missed it, but this is actually the first time I'm seeing that second trailer. I only saw the first trailer, so it's fully something I want to follow. It'd be quite interesting. I saw someone made a interesting idea because I know you see Joel in the first trailer, and someone was there was a theory someone was talking about before, like, what if he's not actually there, and it's actually a reflection, like maybe Joel's died, and then it's kind of like what's motivated Ellie to, you know, do what she's doing, and of course that's why you're then playing as her in the thing. It's a kind of a interesting thought, but either way, it'd be kind of cool to see the adventure, because, you know, for largely through the first one she was, you know, growing up and, you know, alongside you. So if you're then playing as her, it's going to be quite nice to see that evolution. But yes, definitely on my watch list.
A lot of people are predicting that the Last of Us is going to drop in 2020. I think it'll come next year. I think that's long enough between Uncharted, Lost Legacy, and long enough between Uncharted 4 for them to drop a game. We don't know what their scope is of next year. They could be. Feel like Sony's just going to drop a bunch of like hot fire games like next year, and 2020 is going to be their year, and then they're going to see that off maybe into like a new console that comes in 2021.
Yeah, because we've already had like the sort of ultra vague, ultra passing rumors of people throwing out like PS5 ideas here and there. And I think this year's far too early. I feel like next year might be the beginnings of that.
Yeah.
That trend.
So definitely, from what it sounds, it's like developers do have like their hands on early versions of like the PS5 dev kit. So going from that kind of perspective, that's super early, and I don't suspect that it will come out in like 2019 or 2020, but like if they can get them in the hands of developers like at this stage, and they've got like a year and a half of like runtime for actual getting the specs together and then scoping it out and increasing it up to production, because it takes about like months, like I think it's like 6 to 9 months like of production time for like consoles to be manufactured anyway. So it'd be like midway through next year is when they'll start manufacturing the new PS4, PS5 or whatever. But yeah, I don't even know if I'm ready for consoles. I moved over to PC anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me all that much. But I like when a new console drops, because it raises the baseline for everything else anyway in terms of graphical fidelity. Because as much as PC gamers are like, yeah, PC master race, oh my gosh, like there is that restriction of like developers are always going to make games for the most broad audience. So the graphics on the baseline consoles are always going to dictate like what happens like overboard. Yeah. And it also means that when they do develop stuff for like consoles, like they fully like min-max everything as well, like in terms of quality as well. So it kind of goes back to the PC in some way, some here and there.
Yeah.
So, what's your next game, Alex?
Let's talk about Division 2.
The
I know we don't have a trailer for that, but obviously, I'm that super excited. Obviously, they announced it this year. And we played a ton of Division 1, obviously we covered it on the channel, and it is a game that, obviously, I appreciate right now, haven't really kind of jumped too much into the recent update, but it's one of those series that, like, really, really good, and obviously went through different fluctuations, but the concept has always been super cool, and while I feel like there were some things that, obviously, there's some things that, they could improve on next time around, I feel like they got to a point at the end of Division 1's life cycle where, given an opportunity to do a second one, I feel like they would definitely get a lot of things right that they perhaps didn't necessarily do the first time around. I feel like it's one of those things where they learnt a lot. They definitely learned a lot because, as I say, it came out super strong, like really, really positive. They had a bit of a rocky time around like 1.3 and stuff, and then they managed to like bring it back as well. So yeah, I definitely feel like along the whole journey, they have learned a hell of a lot. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, right? It's another one of those, it's part of this emerging genre, this MMO like persistent world, the sort of shared world, social world kind of thing that we're seeing a lot more of these days. And I'm excited to sort of see what they're gonna do next. I mean, like it was already a pretty big game with a big scope anyway, but knowing what they have done now and hopefully with like improved tech and stuff, then there's a lot of things like, even just like looking at the Dark Zone before, like the player capacity and things like that. I would love them to address, or like look at the skills and stuff, because there were some aspects of the game in Division 1 that were, I'd say, almost like needlessly complicated. Like they could sort of, there was a lot of customization options. There were some things that could probably be stripped back, whereas obviously other things could be developed. I'd love to see like more skills. I'd love to see like more specialization options. But yeah, I mean, there's a game that I've sunk hundreds of hours into.
Yes. Thousands of hours.
Probably thousands. Well, yeah, because we were on
the
Xbox,
time,
and then they're true. Actually, yeah, we had like, I think we ticked over 1,000 on Xbox anyway, and then we moved to PC and did it all over again. So that's yeah, I mean, we had so much fun with that because we've been playing since we played since the alpha, right? Since the like very first playable time, and we even started like following that game from a couple of years before it came out. So Division's a big one for us, and we've got confirmed that they'll be showing it at E3. So I don't know in what capacity just yet, but hopefully it's gonna be big. I feel like it's one of those games we're gonna see this year, but probably won't get until next year. But I'm completely cool with that. Like, I just want to know where it's going like next year as well. I'm also really hoping it's in a completely different city. I would say I would like to see them branch outside of just cities. It would be quite nice if you could go to like a city and then into like a forest location just to get some slightly more varied environments. But yeah, this is going to be a one to watch.
Yeah, I really hope that they learn from some of the things that were complained about in Division 1. A simple one, like you just said, being the environments. It was all very grey, very urban. New York, wasn't it? And then obviously there's other stuff that I don't want to go into my complaints about Division 1 because I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the leveling experience to the end game was like the most fun in the game that there was. But as someone who played Division through to the story and tried to get into the end game but just couldn't enjoy it because of just the way that the game was structured in the end game, and that was near release, so I didn't go back after all the DLCs. So maybe I think that there was recent patches that have improved upon that quite a lot. I think that if they did listen to a lot of the community feedback on Division 1, then Division 2 could be one of the best games that's coming out soon.
Yeah. I think one of the most important parts of all of these MMO-like games is that you need something else to do outside of combat. Like, all it is, all the game revolves around is just like shooting the mans, like, which is good. Like, I like shooting the mans, but like, if I'm gonna be playing a persistent game where it's a persistent world, I want to do something else other than shooting the mans.
No, I see what you mean. Yeah,
like in other games in that kind of vein, I know they're not MMOs per se, but you got collection, you've got like a thriving marketplace, you've got
professions are like specializations, right? Like
professions and specializations that you can go into and spec into and build towards, that you can do more things.
I mean, that would be a perfect fit for a game like this, right? Because I mean, like, imagine, given the setting, given the sort of, the setting it's in, it would make sense for you to be like, all right, I'm going to go and like level up my ability to make gadgets, or like, I don't know, my ability to farm plants so that we can actually like build a farm and survive. Yeah.
Just from an aesthetic point, like, they could literally have someone that just makes cool clothing, and people would love that. Imagine if your specialization was just to make a sick looking jacket, people will be like, "You have the god tier skill. Let me come to you."
Yeah,
and stuff. And it's just a nice.
They go down more of an MMO route for it.
Yeah. I feel like it definitely. Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's where like because when it first came out, the scope was pretty broad anyway. And there was a lot of stuff within that kind of focused shooting scopes too. And obviously especially like going down the skill tree and stuff and like the customization, the way you upgrade your gear. There was a lot of stuff to it.
Hello.
Spread that out to give you that broader variety, right?
Alex is cut out there.
I think we had a bit of a Discord.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, excellent news. Sweet. I don't know what happened there. I lost my train of thought now. Connection. No. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah. So, but basically, yeah. I feel like it did get to the point where they obviously showed a lot throughout their time. The stuff that they'd started learning, the stuff they'd started picking up and improving and stuff. But you do get to a point with games like this as well where there are like incremental improvements you can make, but you hit this point where the only way to really make all those drastic improvements is ultimately to start from the ground up, right? And I think that's where we got to with Division 1. There were a lot of like good incremental improvements towards the end, and the game is actually in a really good state now. So I feel like if anyone perhaps played Division 1 and dropped out from it, like, and you were kind of willing to go back in, now would actually be a great time to do it. And they've even got a few things in place. I think it's either live now or live very soon. Where you can start earning things towards Division 2 anyway. But the point is, yeah, it would definitely need a full rework, and I feel like that's where we're at. And it's
I feel like they're almost scared to step into this MMO genre, but like the reason that these games all feel lackluster is because they're not stepping into their MMO. There's not enough depth of gameplay.
It's like a feeler for it. It's like, do they want this? And then they don't commit to it, so you're left with this sort of muddle of some MMO features, like some shooting features, and then it's sort of like this. It's a unique game. It's the first, but it's not committed to one genre enough to really give you that thing that you're craving. But also what you were saying, Alex, before, that it's in a better state now is one of my concerns for Division 2, because undoubtedly the way that games are developed is like Division 2's probably already been in development for a while. If they started Division 2 development now with everything they know, like from the ground up, it would be a totally different game than what it would be whenever it was that they started Division 2, probably after the launch of Division 1, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they have a dynamic enough development process that they can take all the feedback from Division 1 and inject it. I feel like they would. I feel like although there've been like a lot of improvements over the way, I feel like a lot of them are still ultimately incremental improvements. So I don't think there's any, drastic, like hefty drastic overhauls that they would have missed because of like development time and stuff. I feel like there's still a big enough window for them to. I mean, that's what they need to do, right? They're in a position where while obviously all their updates and stuff have brought people back, ultimately to bring back the broader audience, you need to kind of come back in super strong. And I feel like this is kind of a given. Oh, is it on?
I think most of the issues as well, Paradise, didn't even come from their core technology. It came from the design philosophy, and obviously that's a lot easier to port than, I need to take this particular module from my engine and put it in while I'm like halfway through working and it breaks the whole system. Like this is just, we can like rebuild that, or we can take designers from that, and they've like they can even make it a lot better than what they did originally, right? So they're starting from what they've learned and make it completely fresh and intriguing. But yeah,
I'm really excited for it. I pre-ordered the collector's edition for Division 1, and just like the aesthetic and the futuristic-esque technology that you have, which is what I think makes it really cool. And the abilities and stuff where you have like the tracking mine and everything else, and the turrets and stuff that you can put down on like the bonnets of cars and stuff. It really appeals to me. So I really hope that Division 2 is gonna
it's just
go
like,
further than Division 1 did.
It gets me so salty when they just don't go full MMO. All MMO means, and we're not really talking about the real kind of like definition of it, because MMO is just a massively multiplayer online game, which these games are never going to be. Like they're not going to have like 60 or like 100 people per server doing anything. Well, maybe it might do. Maybe they figured that out in the technology and that make the game like amazing. But like stuff like, I just want more to do with my character that makes me feel unique. Like there wasn't enough skills in in the original Division. There wasn't enough things that you could do to those skills to make you feel unique compared to anybody else. There wasn't enough specializations in those skills further. There was some of that, but it wasn't like amazing.
I think that's the thing. That's where like there was sort of some of the depth in like weird area. It was like because when you went to kind of the customization for gear, it was sort of super deep to the point where it's like almost too deep. Because you remember it had all the different stats, you had all like your all the different things you could tweak. But then on the skills front, it was pretty sparse, and that's where I feel like they should kind of reassess it. Like gear should still have depth. There should still be customizations, but I feel like you could almost strip back some of that and then apply that elsewhere, and then you have your depth more so in your skill choices and the way you spec as opposed to just like random RNG drops and stuff. So obviously you need the balance of both because ultimately the RNG loot is what keeps you playing, keeps you grinding and stuff. But yeah, I feel like there's definitely some balance that needs to be done there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, who is it? It's me now.
It's you now.
New game. What am I? I am ready for Halo 6. I was thinking about this the other day. Ooh. So this is a curveball, right? Halo's dead. Microsoft killed it. Microsoft killed it. But I was watching the Halo Online stuff. A couple of people in the community have been banging on about it. And stuff like that, and I'm super excited. I've always been like a massive Halo fan back in the day, but I don't know what they can do with it. But there's just so much feels. It's like a nostalgic thing, right? Halo 1 was one of the first multiplayer games that I've ever played. Like Halo 2 was like we used to go down to the cyber cafe and like play with our friends on like Blood Gulch and get like all the big cars and play with the pistol and all that stuff, and it was amazing. And I just want to have that feeling back where we can get around to like, I don't know, you just felt powerful in those games, and it was just a great multiplayer experience. There's so much in that universe, but it's almost like 343 is just, I don't know, done a Bungie essentially and not been able to storytell as good. It's like, I don't know, it's just like after that separation between Halo and Bungie, it's just both of the stories in those games, I'm not getting that. It's not filling that void that Halo had, where it's like these epic stories of going across the universe and stuff. It's almost like a sci-fi-esque Call of Duty. I know we have that, but it was like a more in-depth kind of narrative there as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And the Halo multiplayer has definitely always been a fun one. It always felt like an ultimate sandbox of things to do. But,
and that's the thing. I think that's always been the nice thing, because I mean, like I was kind of late into Halo anyway. Although I played the first ones at my friend's house, I only really properly got into it, I think, with like Reach, which was with you, right? And then so I was quite late into it, but it's still always been like the really kind of fun multiplayer. I mean, I feel like it's kind of got that thing that even though there's similarities with like other shooters and stuff, it still always had that kind of unique feel to it, right? With the combination of weapons and the power weapons and the way the matches play and stuff. And I know some people might not be as fond of some of the more recent ones. I'm kind of one of those people, the sort of like odd one out, that really liked Halo 4. I'm sorry guys, please don't hate me, but I love the abilities. I think it's because I came in so late. I wasn't used to the movement in the old school Halo, so for me, trying to come in and play at Reach when everyone like knew the game already, it was like I was getting destroyed online. And then when it kind of reset with Halo 4, I was like, I kind of like this. But either way, it's definitely like I feel like there is still that void that like nothing's, even though Halo isn't necessarily right in the kind of place everyone wants it to be, I still feel like nothing has properly filled that Halo void. So there's still space for it. Space. See what I did there. But but there's still space for it. So I feel like it just needs to. I don't know the answer, to be honest, because like I still played them. I still like I will say that I didn't really I played Halo 5. It was it was fun. I enjoyed playing through it like with you guys and stuff, but I didn't get the full experience out of it. I feel like I enjoyed Reach more and also Halo 4. But I don't know the answer, to be honest. But I'm still excited to see what they do with it.
So they said the latest one's going to be on PC as well. So, I think that's like the perfect thing for it and kind of rejuvenate my excitement for playing it. Because just looking at the Halo Online, which was a mod that was made by fans, and 343 stepped in. So I'm guessing that there is something that they're doing with the old Halos on PC, because they wouldn't have stepped in like so viciously to like shut that down so quickly. But it's like, definitely on PC it just looked awesome to play, and the emotion of it didn't seem as like slow and sluggish to play on PC as it did on console compared to like the other console shooters. So definitely a lovely time.
Halo.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Halo for me was all about I didn't play all the Halos. I played Reach mostly, but it was all about the multiplayer with friends for me.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I know that it has a reoccurring campaign and everyone's invested in Master Chief and whatnot. But for me, it was all about the multiplayer. So I'm hoping that that'll be where the biggest focus is, because I could be wrong, but I feel like most people I know, when they talk about Halo, it's all about the experience they have with friends online.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So I'm really hoping that they will have a really good... It'll be interesting to see as well if that Halo style of multiplayer is still going to be super popular, because I think since the last major Halo game, things have changed a little bit in the online scene. So it'll be interesting.
They had like Warzone and stuff going on in the other Halo games, but I feel like they should keep what they have with these close range combat kind of situations. Like, keep what they have in Halo 5 with their competitive gameplay, but they need to add a separate mode that doesn't take away from what Halo is at its core tenets, and kind of make a Battlefield-esque Halo, where it's like those big epic battles that you see in the cutscenes. They have like multiple warthogs going across the thing. You have like Pelican jets flying over. You have like big war tanks and stuff coming in. Like, I really want that kind of experience from my Halo, and I feel like that will kind of rejuvenate it in a way, almost.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So who's up next? Cool. Who's up next?
Is it back to me or is it to Alex?
I think it's back to
me.
You. Oh no, is it Alex?
Oh, is it?
It's Alex.
I think Alex.
Oh, I forgot my list. What else do I have on my list? Hey, I tell you what, let's throw it in here, because I've been chasing this game for a long time, and let's talk about Xbox. Crackdown 3. You know what? Like, Crackdown's a weird one for a lot of people. A lot of people will look at Crackdown and be like, this game looks rubbish. Like, to look at, it might not look that impressive, right? It might be like, this looks like a rubbish Saints Row. This looks like a rubbish GTA. Let me just tell you, right? Crackdown is one game where when you play it with friends, it is, ignore what it looks like, right? When you play it with friends, it is one of the most fun experiences you will have, right? It is just stupid fun. Like, you're in a city. When I tell you, like, if you haven't played Crackdown before, like, I mean, I came in late as well. I came in at Crackdown 2. 2Six been playing. He's the one that got me into Crackdown, but I'm talking about it because, like, I played number 2. You're walking down as a super agent, and you just pick up a car and you just throw it at people. You're just climbing buildings left, right, and center, jet suit flying around places. Like, it gives you that sort of superhero feeling without being like a obvious superhero and stuff. So when I heard about Crackdown 3, I know like they've been pushing it out constantly. It's getting to the point where I almost feel like the game doesn't actually exist, and I'm wondering whether we're ever going to get Crackdown 3. But I hope we see it this year. Yeah, I mean, they've been talking about this whole, like, the idea of 100% destructible environments. Not quite sure how that's going to work. I'm not sure if I like the idea of going into, like, a lobby where someone's completely destroyed the city and you've got nothing but flat rubble to play on, because it's nice to climb towers and stuff. But the point is, it's just really good fun. Like, I'll admit that I haven't had, like, as much recently to play on my Xbox. Obviously, it's nice to be able to jump back into State of Decay and jump out on Xbox and PC. But, like, I haven't had as much to play on my Xbox recently, and Crackdown is one of those things that, like, I will fully sink time into that. It's just fun. Like, that's that. I can't really say much more than it is just a fun game. So I want to see more. They need to stop pushing out, because it is getting to the point. Unfortunately, the thing about Crackdown as well, it's one of those things where, like, if you're happy to jump into it for the fun, cool. It's probably not a system seller. It's probably not a system shifter. So it might not be one of those like megaton games that they can't really afford to push it out too much, because it will get to the point where if they push it too much, people will forget it and they'll be like, Crackdown what? So it just needs to come out. They just need to, like, if they don't show it at E3 this year, I'm sorry, but like, I don't even know.
Yeah, that game was awesome. Like, you were talking about picking up a car. It went deeper than that, Alex. It went deeper than that. Like, you got into a car that transformed into some massive buggy with wheels that your friend could pick up, that they could throw at the wall, which then could drive up a vertical wall because it was attached, which they could jump off the building and use these rockets to, like, boost into the air, which you could then jump out of and then use, like, your wingsuit. It was nuts. It was great, man. I love Crackdown. Crackdown was awesome. It was just like a big sandbox of just foolishness that you could just do all the time. Remember,
it's
like,
just a fun game, right?
One of the funniest things was just trying to get that wingsuit achievement, and one of our friends not being able to, like, wingsuit around the place, like, getting super frustrated.
Was that Agent T or was that a mystery? I forget which one.
That was Agent T. Agent T.
Hey, shout out to Agent T.
Not being able to wingsuit.
Hey, that was good. That was good.
I think as well, if they release it on PC, will be interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything moving forward, like first party, is always on the Play Anywhere thing now, right? It's just like PC and Xbox, so it's nice to have that. But
so you're ever gonna go back to playing your Xbox? Because I bought an Xbox One X and I never set it up because I'm playing everything on PC now. So even if Crackdown came out for Xbox, you're not gonna play it on, you're not gonna boot up your PC anyway, right?
I still plug
boot up your Xbox. I mean,
true. I still plug my Xbox controller in because I still like playing with the controller. But yeah, I see your point. Actually, I probably would play it on PC. True. But it's nice to have the flexibility, right? I think the nice thing, at least, is just that, more broadly speaking, because you can play across both platforms as well. At least you can play with, because we've got because obviously we used to even though we're playing a lot more on PC and PS4 these days, we used to play a lot more on Xbox, right? So a lot of the old school people we used to play with are still on Xbox. So it's just nice to know that if we jump back into it, then we've got that option. Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for my next game?
Yeah, what's your next game?
You take a guess. Begins with Days, ends with Gone.
Oh my gosh.
It wouldn't be a good list without some good zombie games.
Yeah.
So Days Gone, they recently released that bit that like, what was it like? How would you describe it? It was like a teaser trailer or something where they announced, like, what they basically said was, Days Gone isn't what you expect it's going to be in terms of a typical zombie game, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing that boggled my mind with that is there's been no, like, every different zombie game franchise has been very different already. You have Dead Rising, you have Left 4 Dead, you have, like, The Last of Us, you have State of Decay, and they're all a very different experience. Resident Evil, they're all a very different experience. So
yeah, I
think for me that was a given, but maybe they were just trying to say, like, oh, it's not just a run around kill zombies game, right? I think that, or I'm assuming that Days Gone is going to be something a bit like a mixture of like the Last of Us style like story, but with more open world zombie survival like focus.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping anyway, and I'm super excited for it. I'm a big fan of zombie games, as anyone that knows me will know, and so Days Gone looks super exciting, and every time I watch a trailer for it, I just get excited. So I want to see more about it.
I'm kind of on the other side of this fence. Like, I feel like Days Gone looks dead. sorry to anyone at Sony, but it still looks ropey, and I don't know what purpose it actually serves. Like,
that's what we're gonna find out. Give it a chance. We're gonna find out.
I watched the first hour of the game, and it still looks horrible. Like, compared to Last of Us, it's just like.
It depends what direction they take the game, because, like I was saying, Last of Us is this very encapsulated story experience, and then you have other games like, and the Resident Evil's kind of a bit similar to that, but a bit more focus on the gameplay. Then you have other games like State of Decay that's about like the community management and stuff. So it depends what kind of route they go, because if they're going to try and compete like directly with like The Last of Us, and it doesn't pull it off, then it's just going to be that game that tried. If they try and do their own thing and they put it off really well, then I think it could be like that like when The Last of Us first came out, I was like, oh, this is the best thing. It sort of defined a lot of, or it's defined several games since then in terms of the way that they play. I would say that even God of War takes influence from Last of Us. But I have hopes. I don't think it's going to be dead.
What are they doing differently to Last of Us? Obviously, outside of it being open world and whatever, like their core narrative of their, like, what they're trying to get people to do is just like survive the zombie apocalypse and create relationships with people and kind of have like that kind of, you don't want to lose this person because you have an attachment to them type thing as well, which is the same as Last of Us, right? It's like,
well, The Last of Us was more about
relationships,
following the relationship between the two main characters and following their story.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that Days Gone is more about the world, the environment, what's happening, and surviving it.
Okay. Maybe it's just that zombies don't excite me that much, and
I think you just don't like zombies, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it will just. I guess if it can't encapsulate those people that don't like zombies, because I think that there are a lot of people, and there have been many zombie games.
Yeah.
And there is the whole like, oh, it's the zombie trope. So if if when it comes out, or if whatever announcement at E3, if there is one, can make you think like, oh, this actually looks really interesting, then that'll be super good for it. But if it's just like you say, if you walk out of E3 and they show something and you're just like, oh, it still just looks dead, then it might not do so well because it's got to apply to the bigger audience.
But I only get this from this type of game though, because I look at Resident Evil and I've been like, okay, yeah, Resident Evil 4, like one of my favorite games of all time. It's like, okay, cool. That's completely different. Look at Last of Us, is completely different. I don't know what other single player driven zombie games there are out there, but they feel distinctly different from each other. I feel like this one is, from what I've seen, trying too hard to be kind of straddle the line between being a Last of Us and an open world game at the same time. I do think that their tech is awesome with all the zombies that they have on screen, and maybe that just in itself might just save it. Like those times where you have like hordes of zombies coming after you.
Do you remember I think it was the first gameplay trailer that they released, where they were in that train area with the big house, and you had this massive zombie horde that was chasing him through this warehouse, and there was all kinds of environmental traps and ways to block it, but there was just so many of these zombies that they followed it up to the roof, and I think you had to like jump off or something.
Yeah, and that's when I was excited about the game. But then the more they showed of it,
if that can't be, you know, a consistent thing, you know, in different areas of the map and stuff, then maybe it won't be as great as I hope.
While I'm ragging on it, at the moment, it might be the game that I like more because it has those open world aspects. If it's like a Horizon version of Last of Us, then I'm going to enjoy that because you got the bike, you got the story elements, you got the multiple endings, you've got the kind of survival aspect of like collecting items and going out, and kind of like the strategy of hiding behind things and like sneaking and stealth and stuff. So that in itself looks awesome, but from like all the other gameplay that I've seen, I'm not like I'm 50-50 on it. Like I'm holding my reservations. It could be like one of the best games ever, but yeah. I know Paradise is gonna love it though.
It's hard not to be biased when I know I'm gonna like it.
All right, is that you next, Alex? Or
I think it's you. I think you did another game.
26.
It's me. It's me. Okay, this is the game that I am like. This is probably my most anticipated game of E3, and I've been waiting. Oh no, I turned off the wrong thing. I've been waiting to see more information of this, but Ghost of Tsushima, the samurai game. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We need more chops in games. They need to hit the chops. Like I just want to go around slicing up guys as a samurai. Like after Onimusha and all those games at like towards the end of like the PS2 era, like we haven't got many like samurai like ninja games in like ages, and I feel like now is the time to go back to that. But this is so
it does look good.
What it sounds like it's going to be an open world action samurai game where you're out. It's a revenge story. Revenge stories are the best stories. When you're out to get someone, it's just hype when you're ready. And then you know there's going to be that part where you're so close to killing the person, and then they do something to just get away, just for at the last second, and you know I'm just gonna be salty as a samurai man going to chop him down. Yeah. I hope the combat system in it's like, I need healing. I know that the combat in it's gonna be pretty decent as well, because it's made by the people that made Infamous as well, isn't it? So Sucker Punch is the people that made Infamous, and that game always looked awesome. The graphics looked awesome. They were creative in like their ideas, so can't wait to see this. I wanted to see what the traversal's like as well.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, it'll be interesting to sort of see where they go with their gameplay as well.
Yeah,
kind of just more broad action. So making it a little bit more accessible, or whether they do kind of. I feel like they're not going to go fully in like Neo and stuff and go, those kind of ultra difficult Dark Souls esque. You know what I mean? But like kind of just really really tough. I feel like they're probably going to focus more on. I would love it if they do, because I feel like Neo. I mean, to your point of there not being too many samurai / ninja focused games, like Neo, I absolutely loved because it was set in Japan. Obviously, it's a time and a place and set in a period that I was like super interested in anyway. And plus, of course, the combat was really good and it was flipping hard as nails, so the challenge was good. So I'd like it if they do that, but I feel like maybe based on the sort of cinematics we've seen from this one, there might be a slightly stronger focus on the story, in which case they might like still give you the challenge factor, but it might be more sort of broad action. But either way, it's definitely going to be really cool. I mean, yeah, I'm a big fan of sort of stuff set in Japanese times, sort of got the interest in like samurai and stuff. So I really want to sort of see more. I want to see like where specifically the story goes, because there's a lot of like interesting angles they could take it. So yeah, it's going to be one to watch, and that's also going to be in their press conference as well. So we know we're going to for sure get some
chops.
Hopefully see some gameplay.
Yeah,
it's just something about being a samurai with your sword, going around. You know, that's appealing. I think I never played. Is it Neo? Was it?
Yeah.
I never played Neo. I should give that a try. But even like, because I'm quite a Total War fan. Like Total War Shogun and then Shogun 2 was just amazing seeing like all the samurai fights. Obviously, that's not going to be like this, but if they can encapsulate the experience of being that one samurai and going around being a badass, that would be really cool.
Yeah, because the story is like I think his clans were like wiped out, and he's the last one left, and that's why it's called Ghost of Tsushima, because he's like the last remnants of that, and he changes his combat style as well, and he learns like new styles and stuff and whatever. So that's gonna be awesome. And if it's anything like Bushido Blade from the PS1 days, where it's like one chop kills you, imagine if it's one chop kills you. That would be amazing. Like every battle is like a massive standoff, and you're just like
nobody gets past chapter 1.
Nobody gets past chapter 1. I feel like a game like this would ultimately strive from being brutally like hard, or almost like even harder than what God of War is and what like Dark Souls is. Like one hit, like ultimately like super realistic would be nuts for this. Because cool, if it had a stealth element as well, because you're sneaking around, then you could do that. It's like, okay, it would be great. People need to learn the hard way.
Just true.
Right.
True.
Who's on their next game?
I should have written down my list, because I told you my list before, but I completely forgot what my games are. What else do I have on my list, 26?
I can give you some ideas for things to talk about, Dan.
I can give you one, Alex.
Throw me in my games. Should we talk about Spider-Man? Let's talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I feel like, is one for everyone, right? We're all super excited for this. This is going to be an overlap for all. We've recently seen a lot more thanks to the kind of month of Game Informer coverage. And
shout out to Game Informer.
Yeah. And the game just looks so good. Like, just one of the simple things, like without even talking about combat, without even talking about like the story or the setting or anything like that, just seeing the way you move around the city, it looks crazy. I remember like when the trailer came out and people started making GIFs of it and stuff. Just the movement, the traversal is just like nuts. And obviously, Spider-Man fan and whatnot. So it's going to be nice to have like, because some of them, like I've played a few I haven't played all of them, but I've played a few of the Spider-Man games, and some of them were right. I probably gave it a bit more leeway because it was Spider-Man. Some of them a little bit less so, but this one like actually looks like a solid, good Spider-Man game. And obviously, Insomniac. I mean, they're a solid studio to work on this kind of thing, right? Because I know while it might not have been the like everyone's favorite game, Sunset Overdrive was really cool on the combat front and some of the stuff you could do in the city and the way you could like move around. So, thinking about that studio applying it to Spider-Man, yeah,
Spider-Man 2 was like one of the greatest games of all time.
So good.
Actually, I'm going to do a little Kanye West moment here. Like, Spider-Man Web of Shadows was basically like the greatest game of all time.
Which one was that? I don't think
I don't know a lot of people played it, but Spider-Man Web of Shadows had some awesome combat systems in it. And it came out I think it came out on 360, just like towards the end of the 360's life. And it was awesome. Like, you could keep yourself up in the air like basically indefinitely, using like some special abilities and stuff. And web singing was like close to, it wasn't on point to Spider-Man 2, but was close to in terms of like speed, like Spider-Man 2. I think speed is essentially a thing when it comes to like Spider-Man games. That is this one of its defining things, if it's a good Spider-Man game or not. Like, you need to feel that speed and traversal, and I think they said that they are getting very close to like nailing it on this one for PS4. So that's ultimately got me super excited for playing this game. Yeah.
Not only that, but like talking about the traversal, what we've seen of the combat and the gadgets, which is obviously a new thing, because they went back towards like the comic book Spider-Man with the gadgets and stuff, right? And it's not so much a mutation with the webs, it's the web slinger attachment and all the different gadgets and stuff. So it looks amazing. Like if any of you have seen that that gameplay where he's in the top of like a construction site of a building and he's doing like stealth takedowns and he's throwing down the little web traps and stuff, looks super cool.
And I think we need more of these games so that we can get to like some real heroes that we actually care about, like Captain America as well.
Whoa, whoa. Spider-Man is where it's at.
Spider-Man. Controversial.
Controversial right there.
Right now, people are going to the comments like, how dare you, Spider-Man is a real... I know what you mean, though. I mean, but to that point, like, the more like, because there have been, there have been some of these like kind of games in the past, and they've been a bit hit and miss, right? So, but if there's like genuinely a super solid hero game, and given the growing popularity of just like comic book stuff in general, and obviously more and more people getting into that stuff through the cinematic universe instead, then yeah, I mean it would open up the world for so many more, right? I mean I would fully play a Captain America game or like a Thor game or a Hulk game, like yes. So
yeah, I think they need to make another Hulk game, to be honest. Hulk Ultimate Destruction was like so good. A lot of people don't play that either. I've just been playing all the stupid like superhero games for like however long. That's why I'm just ready for like all these other hero games to come out. And these games always like super excite me because like I love the stories anyway. And hopefully this game is so in depth like Arkham that they kind of bring in aspects of like the story into the actual comic book universe. Because like for instance, like Harley Quinn's from the animated TV show and stuff like that. It would be nice to get something like that in terms of like a video game thing, where it's like it's so ingrained, people kind of resonate with it so much that they kind of introduce it into the broader comic book like world and stuff. So yeah,
true.
Yeah. And I like one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually change his like suit around, and that gives you like loads of different abilities and stuff, and it changes his gadgets. Really? It's awesome.
Oh, I knew they were different suits, but I didn't realize they were tied to the gadgets. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
That was how it was in the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
You'd get different suits and it would actually change your abilities you could do. So I remember distinctly there was one suit that made all your web moves go on fire, which was quite cool. I doubt that I don't know if they'll have that in this one, but that was the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man.
And you can take selfies. Hey, they better have a camera mode in this one, like a photo mode. They do have a photo mode, don't they?
So we might as well talk about the... Okay, go on.
I've got 3 more that are all like announced games, but I don't know if they'll be at E3. So one is Final Fantasy 7.
These are your predictions, or these are your...
These aren't predictions. These are just ones that we know are coming at some point. But
oh yes. My gosh, Paradise coming in hot with that Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 7. What can I say, man?
I think a lot of people know Final Fantasy 7 by now. We don't know a tremendous amount of information about it. We know that it's taking a different route with combat and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I'm excited. I want to find out more about it. I would love to play it.
I think so. So what we know about this game so far is that it's probably going to be episodic. Everyone's like, wah, wah. But if the game's bigger and it's got more depth to the gameplay, then I'm fine with it being episodic. Like, there's parts where it can end that are fine. Like the first bit that Sephiroth is basically a snake.
Whoa!
Oh, spoilers! Spoilers! But also that they said that they're going to change the combat system, so it's not turn-based anymore. It's going to be action-based. And the latest rumors are that they've actually switched to the development house that are looking after it, because the development house that was looking after it is so far behind on development that it's going to be it's been taken over in-house by Square. So
okay.
GG. I don't know if we're going to get that anytime soon.
I mean, I will say that I'm looking forward to when it does come out, because I am not right. I'm not I'm not a diehard Final Fantasy fan, and I apologize. It's the point where everyone's gonna be like, "What? I haven't played Final Fantasy 7, right?" So apologies, but this will be my chance.
Game, though?
I believe I played Final Fantasy 2, or was it 1? One of them. One of the ones on Game Boy, and I played Final Fantasy 13.
You haven't completed. You can't really say you played it, but you haven't completed any.
No, this is true. Yeah. This is also true. Yeah, I know. It's the thing with me, right? The thing with me is that and I know that not all of them are. So to be clear, I'm aware that some of them aren't turn-based, but like at least kind of going back to the original one. Apart from Pokemon, I've never really been a huge turn-based fan. I will play some of them, but generally speaking, I'm more into like my real-time combat. And I grew up as a Nintendo kid, and I grew up with Zelda, whereas some of my friends grew up on PlayStation with Final Fantasy. So I wasn't as exposed to it anyway. But the point is, it hasn't appealed to me as much. But I do still want to I want to obviously, I know it's one of those games that I feel like everyone has played or probably should play. So I will use this as an opportunity to go back and at least try and fill in the gaps. I kind of know what's happened anyway because obviously it's a 15-year-old game and like spoilers and whatnot. But
no, it's just because you're a Zelda fanboy and you know that I love Final Fantasy. That's why you don't play it. Because if that wasn't the case, then you would have played Final Fantasy 15 because that's not turn-based. Why have you not completed Final Fantasy 15, Alex?
Because I was busy. I played it, but I was busy. I played some of it, but when I came out, it was the thing is right. These days, as a working man, it's very hard to sink time into an RPG. That's a very long game, right?
I think we're all working men, but I think we both finished Final Fantasy 15.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. I'm out of excuses. Sorry, guys. I haven't played it. These guys played it as a collective.
He doesn't have 28 hours to play Final Fantasy 15, but he's got 1,000 hours to sit in Astera playing the Monster Hunter.
Whoa, no. Excuse me. I played.
How to get 2-6 triggered. It's late Final Fantasy.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but you must be like super excited for this Paradise, like in just terms of more of a traditional Final Fantasy that's not Final Fantasy 15, right?
Yes, I must admit I am the turn-based fan. So obviously, with it not being turn-based for me, that was a bit like
it's like
a bit sad. But yeah. I mean, I got high hopes for it. I think obviously most people play 15 now. They know that Final Fantasy, and having seen the announcements for the 7 remake, is taking a different turn. I don't know that we're necessarily going to see another turn-based Final Fantasy again or in the near future. So it's a fate you have to accept. But I think it's gonna. I have hopes for it. I think it's going to be good.
Why is everyone sleeping in World of Final Fantasy? Like that's the crazy thing. World of Final Fantasy is exactly what you old Final Fantasy people want. Play World of Final Fantasy, guys. Aside from like the emo story, it's got everything else. Actually, kind of has an emo story in it as well. So you might want to check out World of Final Fantasy.
All right. So what do we have next?
I've got 2 more. I think maybe we should talk about Anthem.
Oh, yes, definitely. That was on my list as well. That was one of the ones. Who was the lead?
Do you want to talk about Arekkz then?
All right, yeah. Obviously, so kind of taps into what we were saying before about this emerging genre again, like MMO. Like, it's cover heavily Destiny, Division, and of course, EA's on stat is Anthem, and I guess we'll touch on in a minute, the Square Enix version as well. But, yes, we haven't seen much of it, obviously. We saw that trailer, and then kind of they went quiet for a long time. There's been a few rumblings from developers and stuff, but generally speaking, we're still basically waiting, right? We saw that tiny little snippet of gameplay, which looks really cool, but beyond that, I don't really know what to expect yet. We know broadly what they want to do with the game, and the kind of space that it's going to fit into, but until we can see more stuff, because games like this, right, there's like it's nice to say, oh yeah, it's another one of these like social shared world kind of things, like all right, cool, but until I can actually see what there is to get my teeth stuck into, like that's I'm still kind of like still waiting, right? So it's definitely one of those. The setting wise looks really cool. Being in essentially a mech suit, although they call them javelins. Being in a mech suit, flying around the world, and in third person. So that was the thing that stood out for me, because I'm more of a fan of third person than first person, especially like if it's a game like this and you can get loot and you can get gear. I want to see my character. So yeah, being able to do that and like fly around the world and just do cool stuff in a robot suit with my friends, then yeah, I'm fully down. So yeah, I think they said they're gonna be showing stuff at EA Play, because of course they got their conference this year. So hopefully, yeah, I want to see more.
Yeah, I think people are their salt in their diet has made them sleep on this game. But yeah, like to be honest, this is the one of these MMO-like games that's probably gonna scratch the itch, probably the closest, just based on BioWare's experience. Like, I know everyone's looking at Mass Effect Andromeda, and kind of thinking, oh yeah, BioWare's trash, but like that was a B team working on that game. Like, this is like the Premier League team working on this, and they've got experience with working on like fully fleshed out worlds that you can believe in and get fully invested in. Plus, they have the studio that works on like Star Wars, the Knights of the Old Republic, like MMO, that can kind of give them like help on kind of integrating that online tech in there, which the other studios like Bungie and Massive don't really have in terms of like, integrating it into a massive game like this. So yeah,
that's the thing exactly, and I think that's one of the important things, right? It's like I appreciate, you know, there's I'm not trying to like hide the fact that yes, there have been some, you know, questionable decisions from like when people have been looking at some of the stuff that EA have done this year with like the Star Wars stuff. But like for me, I look at, you know, I've said this before, like I look at every new game as a standalone, you know, entity. I don't really care what happened to stuff about like beforehand from the studio. Like if a studio's done something in the past and maybe they made a game that wasn't too good, I'm not going to discount their next game, right? Like everybody has a fresh chance to do stuff. So like irrespective of what's happened before, irrespective of, you know, what's been built and stuff like that, ultimately this as a standalone game looks and sounds exciting to me and is something that I would like to play. So I'm going to go into it with a completely open mind and hope it's, you know, hopefully it's good. Hopefully they can deliver on it. I think, as you said, like having the grounding from the team for the Knights of the Republic is a really solid foundation, because I think that's something that studios do struggle with, right? This emerging genre and people trying to dip into these like social shared world online games. The one thing a lot of studios struggle with is keeping up with the content demand, right? And that's ultimately what you need in a game where someone's going to effectively live and play on a weekly basis. They're going to keep coming back and they're going to kind of maintain that cadence. Where things fall short is when those games and those developers can't meet the content demands, right? And I feel like if you have a studio that is used to the MMO framework, then I think that's already off to a solid foundation. So yeah, you know, until we get to see stuff we don't know, but I am, definitely. I'm ready for this.
Like, I'm looking at the trailer now and just remembering like how nutty this game actually looks and how excited I am for it.
It does look super cool. The only thing, if you look at this trailer now, you'll see at the bottom you have like the 3 abilities.
Yeah.
I love to have a plethora of abilities.
Yeah, that's it.
So unless now, if you watch the trailer, you will see that those abilities actually are pretty cool. But unless those abilities are like super cool, like moments where you really feel good using them, then I would like to see more abilities. But from the gameplay that you can see in this trailer, it looks insane. It looks so fun.
Yeah. Can't wait for this one to come out, and I hope so I don't know like where you're going to be and what you're doing in the world, but I hope that when you are on this kind of planet that there is a variation in like what you're doing and environments as well, because I don't want it to be a Division New York where there isn't any variety in where you're going. It's just like foresty area that you're just running around.
That's true. Yeah, like give me a snowy area at least. I want to go to that. I mean, there was that part, I think it was at the end of this trailer, where they fly into this big storm-looking thing, right? I mean, it'd be cool if that was like a completely different portal to like another separate map. That would be awesome.
I look at this ability right now. It's locking onto 1 million targets.
Iron Man.
Oh, that's sick.
And it actually kills them. That's the important thing to look at. The fact that the rocket that he did earlier actually wipes out all the mobs.
But yeah. And look.
It's a trailer, Paradise. It could be the biggest lie.
They could have just like off the damage and been like,
it actually killed them. It actually killed them.
It actually. Oh dear.
All right.
But hey, speaking about Iron Man, I guess we should probably, before we get to the prediction section, maybe transition into the Avengers project.
Yeah, let's do it.
Talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about the Avengers project. So, the Avengers project, if you don't know about it, is a game headed up by Square Enix. So Square Enix and Marvel have a 10-year deal, sounds familiar, to develop a couple of games based on the Marvel IPs. And one of those first ones is an Avengers game. We don't know much about it, but based on the listings on their website, it seems like it's going to be a Destiny-like game, Destiny Division, Anthem type game. Other people are saying it's not actually that, it's just going to be a straight co-op game. But there's so many leaks, so many rumors, so many different things. I'm just excited to play a game where I can play as Captain America. You saw his shield. If it isn't MMO, it's going to be like nutty, because if it's a better version of DC online universe or DC universe online, then I am down for that, boy.
Well, I think it's definitely starts to be more than just a co-op game, because like the official description, the brief description they released when the game came out says Avengers Project is being designed for gamers worldwide and it'll be packed with all the characters, environments, and iconic moments that have thrilled fans for a long time, featuring a completely original story, and it will introduce a universe gamers can play in for years to come. So that to me sounds like the sort of building like this, and in some of the job listings as well. I mean, so what we know from like gameplay wise, it's supposed to be a third-person cover-based action adventure game.
Or cover-based for some of the people, because from what we've read in the rumors, it's like you've got different types and different abilities that you can play as. So some, like if you're playing as Hawkeye, he's like a cover-based person, but you can be playing as Iron Man and he can be flying around doing like some madness.
Yeah, although I feel like based on the, I mean, looking at the trailer style, like it looks kind of pretty bleak. So it could even be one of those things where much more akin to how you create characters in DC Universe Online. Maybe the setting for this is that all the heroes have been like wiped out, and we have to kind of come in and fill in their void. So maybe we play as someone within that class. So like instead of playing as Iron Man, you play as like the Iron Man class, like the tech class, and maybe you play as like the web slingers and like the the things like that. So that could be I mean I'd be cool with that, because then it would kind of open up the scope for customization. It also means if you are playing in a shared world, like an online experience, you're not going to have like 10 caps running around, if you see what I mean. Instead you'll have like 10 shield warriors running around. Yeah. So but I think the way that it's phrased, it definitely sounds, and it makes sense, right? Again, like this is an emerging genre, and like people are, like Activision have Destiny, EA have Anthem, Ubisoft have Division. If this is Square Enix's answer to that type of game, then it'd be super cool. I mean, we'll get to the point where it's going to be impossible to juggle all of them. We're going to have like 4 different, like, the funny thing is, I always say about like MMO light games, it's nice because we don't have time to sink into an MMO these days. But if there are so many of these games coming out, it's going to be like playing an MMO anyway, because you've got so many things to keep going. But yeah, no, it's, I mean, a game in that vein, in that genre, but with superheroes.
I'm perfectly fine if it's not that as well. If it's just a traditional co-op game, I know a lot of people are going to prefer it just to be a traditional co-op game, but like I feel like if you're asking for it to be a co-op game or an MMO game, like what you actually are looking for out of that, is it just a story that you can kind of get down with? Then yeah, like having an MMO doesn't mean that necessarily like the storytelling needs to be bad in that game, right? Like I know there's been like previous games being put out there that have bad multiplayer stories, or MMOs with like very light MMO stories, but there's no innovation if you don't think of like new ideas like that, right? Having an MMO with like a really broad or great way of storytelling would be great. If you can have more in-depth interaction between players as well, that can also be something that could be told with more players. The only thing that I'm asking for here is like either a really good co-op game or a MMO with lots of persistence and depth that I can create my own like superhero in.
Yeah.
Either or, that's all I want. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I'm hesitant to get too excited about it because there just isn't enough stuff released, but it'll be interesting. It could be a defining game for Marvel, right?
Yeah, 100%. They're going hard on their games. They are definitely going ham. But like, Bugsy Miss Marvel, Bugsy Captain America. There you go. You heard it here, guys.
Bugsy Thor, Shotgun Thor.
Thor. I thought you were going to go for man.
No, I know Paradise taking Spooner. I want to run around with a hammer and just like, bam. Yeah, that's me.
I lost the eye. Bam.
I have one more game before we go on to
predictions.
Predictions
going to be fast fire as well, by the way.
Yes. The next game is Red Dead 2.
Oh.
Red Dead 2. That's not at E3.
Yeah, you can't have that one. Rockstar, right?
The sad music should have played right then. Did you see his like reaction?
Rockstar are like they're their own entity, right? Rockstar don't go to E3. They can make their own announcement on any day, and it'll be just as big as E3 because they're just like, yo, here's a trailer. People are like, what? So yeah, they just rock up whenever they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, ruined.
So other games that we could talk about that I have trailers for are Gears of War. Well, we don't have a trailer for Gears of War 5, but Gears of War 4, and we could talk about how presumably they're going to show another Gears of War. And I'm just like, it's Gears of War, kind of over it. Like now, per se, I feel like I've been burnt out by most Microsoft like franchises. Massive Gears of War fan, but like, I don't know, maybe when the trailers come out anyway, because I felt the same way about Gears of War 4, and as soon as that actually like dropped, I was playing that so much, and then just like other games came out, so I didn't go back to it. But I really enjoyed the campaign, and Gears of War 4
the campaign was good, right?
It was really cool. And people enjoyed watching it as well, so that was awesome. Then we have Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah. I feel like for that one, we're not.
Why are you even happy for this? Just because it's a Nintendo game? I've never even heard you talk about Metroid Prime in your life.
No, I will openly admit right now. I'm not even gonna. I will openly admit I have not played all the Metroids. I think the only ones I really played were Metroid Prime Hunters on 3DS. Please don't hate me. That was a great game. I used to play online on that. Really good fun. And one of the ones on Wii, I forgot. So yeah, I'm late to it, but more to the point, right? It excites me. I'm excited for this one, not as a Metroid fan because I haven't played as many of them, but just more for the fact that it's like Switch is gaining so much momentum, and Nintendo like bringing back more of their IPs. If this does well and they just kind of keep expanding, it's more like the broader what this lines up that excites me. And I'm gonna better late than never, right? I'm gonna use this as my opportunity to finally get properly into it and be like, yeah.
No, but I'm always like Nintendo hasn't really been serving the franchises that I like all too well. Like Star Fox, they haven't really been serving. F-Zero, they haven't really been serving. And Metroid Prime was definitely ones that I kind of resonate with. So I used to have like in like the early 2000s a headset that you could wear, and it was like playing the game in first person. It was like a VR headset before a VR headset was around. I used to have a controller in my hand. It was like some Sony headset. I used to play like Metroid Prime in like first person. It was awesome. It was like 2 pixels wide, but yeah, it was great.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm super hyped for this game and see how it can. Supposedly it's like Namco or like some Namco studio developing it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I guess they're gonna have like some weird like Nintendo Switch like integrations in it with like motion controls as well, probably.
Ooh. Maybe they'll make a Nintendo Labo kit where you can wear Samus's suit, cardboard suit, put the Joy-Cons in, and you can run around like Samus. I can see your face, 26. Let me buy some of that quality cardboard. And
so
just
the other
Nintendo
game that we have is Pokemon Sun and Moon. Or Pokemon whatever on Nintendo Switch.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, apparently. They were just before, I mean, this is not necessarily true, just before we started this stream, there were trademarks that were registered for those two titles.
Say again?
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I don't know whether they were just registered trademarks. I have no idea whether that's actually in any way related. But I saw
it could be a Pokemon Go related thing.
I feel like if they're going to do it, I feel like they might. Maybe they'll kind of take advantage of the portability of Switch and also the success they've seen through Pokemon Go, and maybe try and combine it to be like some ultra awesome. Maybe imagine if it was a Pokemon, but with like social aspects for like if you're out and about. Like more so than just like the standard. Like
take your Metroid idea and apply it to this, then say it again, please.
All right, so Nintendo are going to release a cardboard Pokeball, right? And you're going to throw these cardboard boxes at people, catch them, and put them in your game.
No, I thought you were going to be Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I thought you were going to say dress up. You can dress up as a Pikachu or Eevee.
Imagine.
Just go outside.
Friends
you make little friends. Oh my god.
Imagine that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, well, I mean, obviously there's. I think it's still supposed to be. There was some like rumors going around recently. It's still supposed to be like main series, right? So hopefully it still follows the traditional format. But if they could at least kind of add in some more social aspects and more things like that, that would be kind of cool. But we'll see.
All right. So the last game that we have on our list is Rage 2. I think this is the gameplay trailer. I don't think a lot of you have actually seen this, have you?
I have not, no.
So yeah, this is Rage 2. It looks like Doom. Definitely looks like Doom. I wasn't really a big fan of the first one because it was very Mad Maxy, and while I like Mad Max Fury Road and the original Mad Max films, I've never like really ultimately resonated with video games that look in that kind of style.
Okay, fair.
I'm down for like more id Software games. Like Wolfenstein was one of my favorite games from last year. So you guys know That I like the Bethesda studio type first-person shooter story fun games, and this game just looks nuts. So yeah, I think it's crazy in the right way this time, more so. So yeah, I'll be playing this. I think I'll be playing this and picking it up.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. It looks more like the Mad Max game than the Doom game, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially obviously with the cars and stuff.
Yeah, so the first one always had a car and you could do some like crazy stuff in it. I didn't play the first one ultimately all that much, but I know there's like a hub town that you can go to and get missions off people. There's like crazy. It was almost like a Borderlands, a more realistic like Borderlands-esque type thing going on. But yeah.
Yeah, I never played the first one, but I mean, again, I'll check it out. I mean, that's the thing. Ultimately, the number one didn't really massively appeal to me. But I'll give it a.
Yeah, it's made by the same people that made Just Cause as well.
Oh, okay.
So Avalanche Studios, I think, is partnering with them. So
fair.
That's good potential.
Good potential. All right, so now we're on to our predictions for E3. Quickfire predictions. Are you guys ready for this?
All right. Wait, can we caveat this before? Can you explain the context of this game show? We were told to have. Yeah, I'll let you run with it.
So before we started the stream, we were told to have. I told everybody to select 5 different things that they think that was going to happen at E3, and we'll review these after E3. Most of them couldn't be things that you know are going to happen and are predicted. Be like, oh, I want Battlefield 2018 to be at E3 and them to show some guns. It's going to be good time. It's like, no, it's got to be kind of a more like outlandish, not outlandish idea, but something that we kind of left field or don't know about per se. So with our 5 predictions selected, who wants to go first?
I go first. I've got a few. I start with the more tame one, but they get progressively more outlandish as we go through.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Elder Scrolls 6, maybe.
Ooh, the boy with the Elder Scrolls. What do you think it's going to be called?
Who knows? I don't know.
Fusrada 2. No, I feel like that's like
Elder Scrolls 6. We promise it's not more Skyrim.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely probably maybe somehow a given.
I think that there's potential. There's potential, right?
High potential for it. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not really a Skyrim fan though. Again, like I played Oblivion and I tried to get into it, and I played Skyrim and I was just like, this is too open for me. There are too many options. I don't know what to do. What am I doing? But I've always wanted to like those games because I like that type of setting and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember when Skyrim first came out and everybody was just like the arrow to the knee meme, and you just could see Skyrim like everywhere. You could see like the mods, you could see everything that's happening. You're just like, oh my gosh, I really want to play this game and enjoy it. And one of my friends at university used to always love like Elder Scrolls as well, so I've always wanted to love that game. But every time I picked it up, you know who loves that game as well? Toxie as well. She just always is in my head. Play Skyrim, play Skyrim.
Skyrim suffered the same problem that the Witcher 3 suffered for me, which was that like I've yet to finish. I love both games. I've invested, I don't want to say hundreds, but near hundreds, about like around 100 hours on both of them. Haven't finished the story neither. Yeah. They're just so big. There's just so much to do. But Skyrim is one of the Elder Scrolls games that I regret not buying the collector's edition for, because it's like super expensive. It has this like the sick the wall with the dragon text and the big dragon on top, and you can't get it now. It's too expensive.
Ooh. Cool. What's your prediction, Alex?
Okay, well, we start with the tame ones for now. Number one, right? I feel like Super Mario RPG is going to make a return, right? You remember that old school one?
Isn't that Paper Mario now?
No. I'm talking about the old school Super Mario RPG, right? Because Nintendo of America the other day tweeted out something along the lines of, I can't remember how long it was, but they were like, X years ago, Super Mario RPG came out today. Now, why are you going to talk about that? Why are you going to bring that up out of the blue on this day?
because Nintendo are just weirdos, isn't it?
No,
they're just probably sitting in their corporate meeting, sipping tea, and just being like, "What if we just threw out a tweet today talking about Mario RPG?"
No. On this day,
my body is
of all
ready.
the things you could have tweeted, why did you tweet this?
So what did you do in like Mario RPG? I know it kind of sells itself like in the title, but
it was kind of like the RPG.
Did you play this game, Alex?
I'm playing.
Exposed.
No, to be clear,
he's clutching at the straws. He's trying to get these predictions.
To be clear, my prediction doesn't have to be something I played. No, I no, but I want to play it. So then, if it comes out, I can replay it.
He's super excited about a game that he's never played before.
No, this is not our most anticipated games. This is our predictions, right? I'm making predictions right here.
Okay.
This is my prediction, and then I would go back and play it. So yeah.
Cool.
Base RPG with Mario.
All right. So my prediction is that Microsoft is going to bring back an old IP that hasn't been around for like the last generation, which is Perfect Dark. I think it's the perfect time.
Ooh.
I was talking about spy games already. I think the big boss is dead. Snake is gone. We know that Splinter Cell's probably coming back because that's rumored, but Perfect Dark as a third-person action game, let's go. I think that would be amazing. And if it had high production values, that would be awesome. And it's because it's got all those weird technologies in it. Like in Perfect Dark Zero, you could like you had a gun that could clone yourself, so you can distract guards. You had like you had a laptop gun that you could like throw on the floor and create a turret and stuff like that. Oh,
Farsight.
You had the Farsight in the old ones. I'm trying to think of all the. You had like a gun that was an adaptive like grenade launcher with tracking stuff. It's cool. It's just cool. And if you could do that in third person, it was Perfect Dark Zero was co-op as well. So if they had a co-op aspect to it, 10 out of 10.
Oh my gosh.
10 out of 10.
Okay.
So, Paradise, what's your next one?
So my next one, while I may not be the most excited person for this particular game, I think there's a potential for a Bloodborne sequel.
Yeah, I feel like there's that. They've already kind of teased something coming from them, haven't they? They've teased that. They're making a game that they haven't said it's like what it is. They haven't said if it's Bloodborne, but I think it's probably going to be Bloodborne 2. It's either Bloodborne or some Dark Souls 2 type thing, and maybe that's why they're doing a remaster. But yeah, Bloodborne. Yeah. I'm not ready to get slapped. But I'm probably going to play it on stream for like 2 hours and then get frustrated.
I am fully ready with that. I missed out on Bloodborne, but I got into Dark Souls late. But like, because I tried with Dark Souls 1 and it didn't click with me. But I tried again with 3 and it finally clicked. And I kind of kicked myself that it took me that long to like get into it. And that's kind of why I went from Dark Souls into playing Neo, because like now I really like those sort of like bang your head against the wall until you can defeat this boss kind of thing. But yeah, so I will definitely. I don't know. I could go back and play like Bloodborne now, but I don't have time to go back, so I'll wait till the new one comes out or whatever it is. But yeah, okay.
Cool.
My next prediction, right? Next prediction. So Platinum are working on a new game, right? Platinum, the boys, they work on good games, right? They're working on a new game, a new kind of take on the action.
They work on good games.
They work on good games. Platinum bring out some good quality games, right? When Platinum say they're doing something, I listen, right? I feel like they're gonna I feel like they're gonna bring back Scalebound, but not Scalebound, Scalebound, but not as Scalebound. They're gonna bring back that title that they lost and show the world what it could have been, right?
Doesn't Microsoft own the IP for that though?
No, but not Scalebound. They're gonna use like the underlying tech of what they were trying to do with it, because they said in the new tweet they said something along the lines of like I can't remember I don't have to quote here, but it was something along the lines of they're working on a action adventure game that's going to sort of like flip the genre on its head, basically kind of introduce like gameplay elements that I haven't seen before, so, or something of that vein. So maybe they will take what they were trying to build and actually do it this time, but they won't be tied to a publisher. They'll do it themselves. So prediction number 2.
It's going to come out like a real-time Monster Hunter stories where you're riding little mini dragons.
Hey, I'll be cool with that. You cool with that?
Alright, my next prediction is a new battle royale game from Ubisoft. I feel like they like they one last thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes perfect sense for like Ubisoft to come in and just be like, yo, here's a battle royale game. This is how you do it. This is how you do it at a AAA level that is like a paid for title, not like Fortnite. This is more of a grounded one, and it'll go more like in the PUBG Battlefield direction rather than the Fortnite over the top. Okay, I think there's two different audiences there as well, and hopefully they bring in a bunch of different modes into that game as well, so it's not just battle royale-esque. Because I feel like a lot of people getting tired. Yeah, people are getting tired of battle royale, and I feel like there's opportunity outside of battle royale for large-scale multiplayer fights, like 20 versus 20. Capture like hold off points and like defend points and stuff like that. So new modes, just large scale multiplayer sessions. I think they need to go play some mods in Armor and figure out what modes they want to snake from there. Because if you're playing Armor, that's all the first person. That's where BR came from. Like that's where BR came from. There's so many modes and different game modes that you can play in there that are super exciting that people can just go in there, get inspired by, and make those into AAA games, and they'll sell millions because they're ultimately awesome and fun to play. Like the core of it, you don't need to think of anything new. You don't need to do something that someone's done before. You can just look at what they're doing there and apply it to your game and get inspired by that. And kind of
All right, so another one. So these ones are more like winging it. Probably not going to happen, but I would like to see happen. So my next one is another Dragon Age. I love the Dragon Age series, and while Inquisition wasn't received the best, I want another Dragon Age game. I like the lore, I like the universe. I want another Dragon Age.
Fair enough. So Paradise predictions have now turned into my wish list for games that I'd like to see.
Yes. I really want the Dragon Age. I don't know. I never played like. What was the first one? Was it Dragon Age?
It was Dragon Age Origins, then 2, then Inquisition. Okay.
Yeah. I played up to where you got to the castle, and I didn't play any more than that. But like, was that game really like epic? Was the story in it like really?
Inquisition was amazing. One of like the more defining RPGs. 2 was like pretty. They took a bit of a wrong turn. And Inquisition, they went another direction with the more open world. Like the flavor of the time was like big open world games. Like
so, what's the latest Dragon Age? Is that Inquisition?
Inquisition, yeah.
Okay, cool. I should definitely finish that off then, because at the time it looked very good, but I didn't.
The story in Inquisition is enjoyable. The downfalls with Inquisition is that it has a lot of. It's a single player game, and it has a lot of like MMO-esque like stuff to do, and so the side quests kind of fall short with like gather and kill quests and stuff. But if you just went through the story and maybe only the character quests, because that each companion has its own like personal storyline that's better than a generic NPC side quest, then you probably will enjoy it.
Cool. All right. What's your next prediction?
My next one is a new Donkey Kong game. Brand new Donkey Kong game.
I thought they just came out with a Donkey Kong game like
yesterday. No. That's not new. That's the kind of like there was an addition onto it, but there was like the remaster of the one that we had in the Wii U, I think. If we basically what it is, it was not a brand new one. And Donkey Kong, and I feel like gradually, systematically, Nintendo are broadening their IP coverage given the success of Switch and whatnot. And Donkey Kong is one series that I want. I mean, this is a mixture of prediction, and then also I would love another Donkey Kong 64, but that's not going to happen. But the point is, I feel like now they've brought that back again, and it's another one in the sort of like limelight. Then I feel like they might dip into something in there.
Coconuts. Bananas. No. Bananas. That's what I should have said. No.
Yeah. You missed it. What's your next one?
Yeah, so my one's a Nintendo Switch one. Get this right. Nintendo Switch. I'm surprised this hasn't happened already, and we have not heard anything of this, but like, yeah, Fortnite on Nintendo Switch. Like, why is this not a thing?
Oh.
Like, yeah, I fully expect there to be like a Nintendo Switch version of Fortnite announced at E3. We haven't heard anything of it, but yeah, it just feels like a perfect like place to play. Like all the kids can go around shotgunning each other in the face. It's gonna be a great time. Life
You'll be on the bus. You'll see someone playing Fortnite on the side.
It's gonna be kids on the bus. It's like, hand me some what? Give me some. Hey, bro, you got some slurp juice?
Maybe you can build with the Joy-Cons, motion control building.
Exactly, motion control building and all that. It would be great. Yeah, I think that's like, it's not outlandish, but we haven't heard anything about it, and it seems like a missed business opportunity. We've seen if they can have Fortnite on mobile, there's no reason that they couldn't have it on Nintendo Switch. So let's make it happen. Yeah. You ready?
So my next one, again, more wish list, less likely to happen. Do you guys remember the Prototype series?
Yeah.
I love the Prototype series. And it's kind of similar to like the new Spider-Man game in terms of like, you're going through the city really quickly, you have move sets. Obviously, it's a different character, a different set of moves. A new Prototype game would be amazing.
I'm trying to think.
I think anyway.
I think their studio went on to make something else that's coming out relatively soon. And I can't remember what it is, but the game looks, if you actually think about it, the game looks very similar to Prototype. Maybe it is the Spider-Man game.
Maybe the next Prototype is just Venom. The Venom DLC is the next Prototype.
Did Insomniac create Prototype? Nah, they didn't. Someone go find out the truth about that, please.
Radical Entertainment.
Radical Entertainment. But they... Suspicious. Well, we'll go find out about it. Someone can find out the order of what Radical's making at the moment, and then we'll get back to it. But yeah, Alex, what's your next prediction?
Okay, we've got two more, right? Okay, so I feel like my next prediction, right? Another Nintendo one. Nintendo are going to step into the VR market, right? But they're going to use Nintendo Labo to create cardboard headsets so that they're cheap, and they're going to tap it in with a Nintendo Switch. So you've got the motion controls, and they're going to find some way to have cardboard VR, so it's accessible to them. Wider market.
I mean, you could say Google already did that.
Yeah, Google Cardboard.
Nobody buys Google Cardboard. You need to buy Nintendo Labo. All right, but yeah, Nintendo Labo VR. There you go. Heard it here first. I'll check back after E3 for my points.
Okay. Alex loves the Nintendo Labo.
He loves Nintendo.
Everything is. Do you even have Nintendo Labo yet?
No.
Again!
Oh, no.
He's so embarrassed.
It's Mario RPG all over again.
Yes, Mario. So my next prediction is that Rocksteady are going to announce a new Superman game. I've been waiting for this. Please make it happen. This will fast become like my most anticipated game if this will happen and knock everything down the list. Like, there was one time though they had like a concept game of a concept video of a Superman game. It looked awesome. It was like basically Superman fighting Darkseid through a building, like knocking through all limited stuff. A load of people saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be boring and too hard to make." Just make him weak to something in the game. It's fine. It's fine. He could die to something. He could die to magic. They can have like kryptonite bullets or something. He could get like slapped at the beginning by like Thanos' glove, even though they're not in the same universe. But like, yeah.
Oh, it'd be very easy to do. They could just have a story arc where at the beginning, like, his powers are drained, and then the whole story progresses to like regaining your power.
Yeah,
somehow.
Exactly.
Like, just to give it some progression.
Imagine the end of the game when you're just running, like you're just flying around, like destroying things at Mach 10. That'd be awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Or you could just make a Hulk game and do the same thing.
Hulk smash.
All right, what's your last prediction, Paradise?
I've got two more, so I'll mention them both because these are far out there.
Yeah.
First of all, new Lord of the Rings game. Why have we got this Lord of the Rings game lack? I don't know why.
Because the films are dead now. That's why.
I know.
Actually, no, but it's a TV show. There isn't a TV series.
There's the Amazon series coming soon. I think that it's not out of the realm of possibility for another Lord of the Rings game. You know, I think the latest one would have been Shadow of War, but I'm talking like
that came out like last year, Paradise. You're asking for a new Lord of the Rings game.
Look, we need at least one a year, okay? We need one Lord of the Rings game a year. We want Battle for Middle Earth.
Yeah, we want Battle for Middle Earth. Make it happen. Battle for Middle Earth 2 or 3.
Or Command and Conquer. One of those.
And then to squeeze in my last one, we've got Lost Odyssey 2. If any of you played Lost Odyssey 1, such a good game. If they announce a Lost Odyssey 2, I'll lose it. But it's wishful thinking.
No, I think
2-6 will literally pass out at E3. If they announce,
I'll be like,
I will literally have to phone 911 in LA and be like, "Can you come?" Like, oh dear.
It would be so good though.
Yeah, so many people didn't play that as well. It's like
the only reason I still play 360 is because of Lost Odyssey. So
Microsoft is so dumb. Like, sorry, all my Microsoft peeps out there. Like, there was a window of opportunity there where there was no good RPG games coming out. There was like Final Fantasy 13. Everybody hated on it. You had Lost Odyssey come out. It was rated mediocre, but a cult hit that people really, really loved. All you had to do was get the same studio, give them more money, make a second one, let it cook in the oven for a while, and you would have had a nice little franchise in there, and you wouldn't have to go just Gears, Fable, Forza, and Halo on repeat. You could have had one more in there under your belt, and that could have been a lovely RPG. But there you go. Missed opportunity. And now Final Fantasy 15's there, and Final Fantasy 15's a step in the right direction. You're going to have a harder time trying to get back into that. What, Alex, why are you smiling? Mr. Off Paper.
I'm waiting for my next prediction.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's it. I just had to rant about that just then because Lost Odyssey is near and dear to my heart, and I want more of it.
Yeah,
me too.
Cool. Yeah. My final prediction. Do you know that Nintendo Labo? No, I'm joking. The final one.
They're gonna make Nintendo Labo of my bit, and that's this final prediction.
No. Final one, right, is a Nintendo Switch Pro dock. Right? Now, what I mean by this, if anyone remembers the N64, that used to have a little expansion cartridge that gave the N64 more power, right? Imagine, now I appreciate the idea of the Switch is to be able to kind of take it and come home and you play the same game and whatnot. But imagine for games that did need a little bit more oomph. Right? If they released a Switch Pro dock. That you dock it in there, gives it a little bit more power, gives it one of those extra processing power, extra GPU, and then bam. Because I mean, if you look at Razer released that super thin laptop with an external unit that's basically just like a plug-in GPU that gives it more oomph, right? So yeah, they're gonna call it the Nintendo Switch Pro dock oomph. Yeah.
All right.
And we made a cardboard because of Nintendo Labo.
That's your last prediction, yeah?
Our last prediction.
The oomph box.
Oomph box.
Okay, cool. So my last prediction is a pretty safe one. I'm gonna go with a new Fable game. So I definitely want a new Fable game to happen, and I'm gonna predict that it's gonna be announced this E3. So there have been rumors of a new Fable game, but I feel like it's definitely gonna be announced. They're gonna show off a trailer for it. It's gonna look sick. It's probably gonna be some CGI trailer, but it's gonna get people excited. It's gonna have inspiration from the previous ones, but have a different kind of tone because it's made by if made by Playground, it's gonna be made by Playground. It's gonna be awesome.
Cool.
Oh, do you think I'm cheating with that one? I don't know.
No, I think.
I'll give it. Cool. We'll give it to you.
I feel like it's Microsoft do need to do that. They do need to kind of revisit some other kind of broaden their baseline, right? And I feel like because they still own the IP for Fable, and while I know Lionhead has disbanded, they can still do stuff with it, right? And I had a lot. I mean, again, I came in at Fable 2, so the first one, but I had a lot of fun playing Fable 2 and Fable 3. I would play another one. It's kind of a cool spin on that stuff. So yeah.
All right, cool. Does anyone in chat have any predictions before we wrap up? We've got 8 minutes. So if you guys have any predictions in chat, now we're taking questions from chat and answering your stuff because we've wrapped up.
And same goes for comments. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, if you've got predictions, drop them down below as well. Yeah. And then
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And
comment. And we actually got a giveaway running at the moment for a PlayStation Pro, which will pop up on the screen right now. I don't know if it's actually, or it's listed below in the description box.
Yeah, description box
of the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cyberpunk. We didn't talk about Cyberpunk. Are you excited for this game?
Borderlands.
And Borderlands.
I mean, well, again,
I don't even know what
I'm
Cyberpunk
excited.
is.
That's the thing. I mean, like when they dropped that trailer, I'm just like, the concept art looks cool. I'm just like, I like this, and I kind of get those sort of Deus Ex vibes out of it. But I don't really know anything about it. But I'm like, CD Projekt Red, right? They're good guys. So like, I reckon they'll do some solid work. So
yeah, because like I didn't really play much of Witcher 3, and I kind of missed my window because there was other things that came out, and I should have sank time in there. But every time I look at it, it's like, how many hours is it to complete Witcher? It's like 50 or 60 hours, right?
If soloing the story is still quite long.
Yeah.
I played Witcher 2 about halfway through, and then I did the stupid thing where like a game came out and I saved and I was going to go back to it, and then when I went back to it, I was in the middle of a dungeon looking for a key, but didn't know where I was going, and I was like, I've messed up here. So I never finished it.
So Chaotic says a Parasite Eve remake. Supposedly, he was telling me the other day that there was a logo in the Final Fantasy VII remake trailer that had alluded to Parasite Eve. So maybe I'll bring it back as a franchise.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What about Lost Planet 4?
One of the hot rumors that have been going around on the internet is that we probably should talk about, but we can move quickly on, is that Devil May Cry 5. That's probably a big one, and I'm super excited to see Dante back in like full form. It'll be interesting to see which one they take as well. Like, do they go back to traditional Dante with the white hair stunting, or do they go back to emo boy Paradise with his hair dyed blonde? Paradise looks like him. He looks like Paradise.
Oh, dude. Before the Dante cosplay.
Dante cosplay coming soon.
Also, like as a more broad one, obviously stuff like I just want to see, because Generations Ultimate is at E3 anyway, like they said that. But then I just want to see. I'm hoping we get to see our first look at PC for World, because I know I've already invested. Like I'm not sure whether I'm ready to do that decoration grind again, but I want to see what World PC looks like.
Yeah, World PC as well. That's going to be awesome. If they have that at E3, then we'll definitely try and get some footage for you guys on the channel so they can see that.
And if they let us import the saves,
the save.
I feel like that would be lucky. I feel like that because isn't it
server upload, man? Make it happen. That would be like.
I mean, the thing is, it's happened before, because I know Final Fantasy, the saves can pass between PS4 and PC. But isn't it like generally? I think in like a lot of developers have said recently, like anytime there's sort of like a discussion between passing them between like Xbox, PC, and PS4, there's like, I think Sony always tend to be the one that's holding it up. I think Microsoft has said on record they want crossplay across the board. And although I know we're not talking about crossplay, we're just talking about sharing saves.
Yeah, but it's the same though. It's different.
Yeah, I mean, I would love it, but I just feel like we probably just be like, nope, start again. It's not, I'm still playing it, but like I probably won't grind for decorations quite as heavily.
Someone said No Man's Sky 2. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No,
Borderlands 3 will definitely come out soon. They actually announced yesterday that they're not going to show it at E3, but I feel like it's a curveball. They're like the main man that heads up like PR, not PR marketing, but like the creative director or whatever he is. Like his name's Randy. I don't know what his position is, but he seems like a bit of a troll. So I feel like
fake
Borderlands
news
could be there. I feel like it's time. Someone said Lost Planet.
Hey, I would fully like. I am the Lost Planet fan, right? After that, Lost Planet 3 was not that great. I'll admit, right? Lost Planet 1 was awesome. I love that game. Lost Planet 2 was awesome. Lost Planet 3, I finished the story, was not quite so good, but I would still play Lost Planet 4.
I never played a Lost Planet game.
Yeah, Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD for Nintendo Switch.
Wind Waker HD, please.
But they're not actually the person said they're not actually the game. They're just like the Lambo versions of the boxes that say Nintendo Switch on the top.
I'm alright with
that. You're alright with that.
I'm alright with that. Again, the thing is,
I've never played that game.
GameCube Virtual Console. Imagine. Oh, what about like additional attachments for the side of your Switch that's more than just Joy-Cons. Like a GameCube controller split in half as your Joy-Cons.
What have you recently been playing on your Nintendo Switch?
I played what's it called? I forgot the name of it now. It's a dungeon crawler game. Let me turn it on really quickly. I remind myself the name.
Someone just said Dragon's Dogma 2. That would be amazing.
Yes, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Enter the Gungeon is what I've been playing recently. Really, really cool.
Okay, that's interesting. A new Sonic game. Sonic Adventure 3, make it happen! That'll be like the best. Yo, Sonic Adventure 3, Resident Evil 2 remake, Monster Hunter World G Rank. Do you think that's something that they would announce at E3?
I feel like
at E3 or something like that.
I'm not sure actually. No, because normally because World's in a bit of a different place, right? Because previous years it's sort of like it goes out in Japan, and then like we tend to just get one version, right? So I don't think it's sort of like a. I feel like it's not an E3 thing. I feel like E3 they'll probably be on the PC version because they haven't said anything up until now, and who knows what's after that. But yeah, no, I think because also Generations Ultimate, right? I think that's gonna be their focus for now. So it'd be a bit weird for PC players to be like, hey, G Rank's coming. By the way, you still have the game. So yeah, I think focuses have to be elsewhere first.
Cute. Star Wars MMORPG Lite. That's what Richimaru says.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Tenchu, Onimusha, Spawn. Yeah, I'm surprised there haven't been a Spawn game or a Tenchu game or an Onimusha game. I really want Onimusha to come back. I think that'll be an ultimate game. Fire Emblem Nintendo Switch as well.
Advance Wars Nintendo Switch. Give us that.
Yeah. Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 is gone. It's been gone. It's dead.
Dead Island,
come out for like years. Whenever he said anything with zombies, like Paradise pipes up. Like, it's just like, yes!
What?
No, the undead!
I mean, because it was Dead Island, and then it was Dying Light, right?
Yeah.
And Dying Light just did it better, really. So Dying Light 2, that's how about that?
Also, whatever Bungie have planned for Destiny, I appreciate again, like still it's a kind of a gradual. A few steps in the right direction, might still not have been perfect, but I am still interested to see what Bungie have to show at E3 to show where Destiny 2 is going, right? So I feel like if it's going to make some serious steps, it's going to happen in September, where they'll do the equivalent to like a Taken King update, where they can change a lot more. So yeah, still looking forward to checking back in, seeing what they've got, because I want like I know it's gone through some times and whatnot, but I want Destiny to get to where it should be. So yeah, we'll have to see.
Cool.